Your oil seal. The tricky part about that is you got to make sure the oil reservoir is toward the center of the hub. You can see an oil reservoir. This is an old beat up one, but you can tell there's a gap right there. That gap needs to go down. That way all the oil stays in, etc. So either which way, hub is there. Lug nuts need to go in. As you can tell, the drum barely sits on it. It should slide up. Either which way, I just use a hydraulic press. I wedge my 4-pound mallet underneath the hub. You'll know when it's seated. There you go. Now, your pattern for tightening all 8 lugs, whether it's putting on a wheel, putting in lug nuts, you skip 2. So we did this one, we skip 2, we go to this one. When we're done with this one, we skip 2 and we go to this one. When we're done, we skip 2, go to this one, skip 2, go to this one, skip 2, go to this one. So just repeat that and you'll be good to go. Alright, one of the final steps, we've got to take down the old shoes and install the new shoes. There's a million ways to do this. It's up to you. Some people take these springs off, some people take these springs off. They're all rusted, some are even broken. So, let's see how it goes. Alright, reassembling the shoes and whatnot. You want to put the long shoe in the back, as always, and then attach it to the e-brake panel, or the e-brake plate with an e-clip. If you lost the e-clip, O'Reilly's has a kit 13325 is the part number, DOR is the line code. It's in the help aisle, typically aisle 2. So once that's attached, you put your dowel through the mounting hole, slip that through your shoe. Then you want to put your adjuster plate and your spring seat through that. You don't want to let the shoe move. And you're going to put your short spring and the spring washer over that. You want to line the washer up best you can with that dowel. Don't want to let the shoe move, as I just said. There we go, that's lined up. Let's see if I can do this without moving everything. Okay, next you want to put your other piece of your adjuster plate in. It's typically not too difficult to do, just bend that out, there you go. Next up, take your rod that goes from your adjuster plate over to the main hook on top. You want to make sure this hook is facing out, so don't put it in like this, put it in like this, not difficult, just wrap it around that, put it over there. Now as for the fun part, you take your adjuster spring, insert it into that, and you have to bring it up to there. Even with the brake spring tool, it's kind of a bear, so we'll see how many times it takes me. Alright. There's a few things you can do next. You can put on your spring here, your spring across the top. I typically just put on the spring across the top. It's not too difficult. Just put that in there. And then you're going to attach these two with your brake spring tool. So next is another adjuster spring. It's laying around here somewhere. I guess I don't necessarily have to have that right now. Yeah, there it is. You put that underneath here. Not too difficult. Next is when I bring the front shoe in. This is your spring. I take the small side behind the front shoe and in front of the long shoe. Get that guy out of the way. And then I fold it up so that I can place the adjuster in. Or I just put the adjuster. The actual adjustment needs to go towards the rear shoe. Fold it back over like such. Now you want to put your retainer spring into the front, so you take your longer dowel pin, stick it through. Once again, you want your spring seat to go next. Obviously your spring washer, that's fairly close to being lined up. There we go, that's lined up. So we take our spring washer tool. Alright, once you got that back on, you take your rod that has something to do with the e-brake. Bring it from the e-brake panel over to your front shoe. Make sure your plungers, the wheel cylinders stay in there, obviously. So that's lined up. Then you put in your last spring, this guy. Your spring brake tool as always. I personally bend that back in. Like so. And then you want to make sure everything's clean. You want to sandpaper it down. I already sandpapered everything down. Everything is clean as, well, I touched the camera, but that's dirty. Brake parts cleaner, you name it. Everything should be as clean as it can possibly get. Don't forget to clean your drum. As you can tell, that's picture perfect where the shoes rest anyways. The rest of it don't really worry about. But where the shoes go, they put an anti-rusting agent on it at the factory. So you got to get that off. Your brakes are going to squeal really loud. So make sure your bearing's nice and lined up. You don't want to mess with that at all. Then your drum should slide right on. And then, last but not least, like we already discussed, you want to put all these pieces back together exactly how they came off. So first is your washer. Make sure it's seated appropriately. Next is the locking nut. That was the last one to come off. First one to go on. And make sure all these are clean too. Don't put a dirty piece. You don't want any play. You want it to ride correctly. Sounds good. Next is your locking washer. As always, proper orientation. With that tab right in the slot. Next, your retainer ring. Make sure this one's nice and tight. And you want to fold the tab over. Bang it down into one of those notches. Like so. Next, you want to put your axle shaft back in. Make sure your washer's in there too, properly aligned. As always, don't forget your skip 2 pattern with all 8 lugs, 8 bolts, anything. 8 lug torque patterns. Skip 2. And don't forget to make it look good too. Get some high temperature paint. I've put $360 into this so far. I can definitely spend another 10 on paint to make it look good. As you can tell, everything is now painted black instead of that nasty 70s color, I guess I could say. Last but not least, your adjuster is going to be in here. You're going to be able to feel it with a screwdriver. That's mine. Hear that? That was the adjuster. I'm not looking in there and I'm holding the camera. It's not exactly easy to get. But the basic principle is you want to hear your shoes, but you don't want to lose force with your drum rotating. Well, you want to lose a little bit, but very, very, very minimal. Like this one's set somewhat decently. So there you go. You have officially learned how to redo a 14-bolt axle, brakes, bearings, and seals.